something this morning. I follow the news in Charlotte still. You know, I live up here. People are not flying planes. People are not taking trips. Partly that people are not flying into America because America is a warmongering state. But the other part of it is the fact that they have planes falling out of the sky almost every day now. And sometimes I feel like a voice in the wilderness just screaming out here. And then every so often something happens and it's like, yeah, people get it. The people with money and shit, they go on vacations and like do shit, they get it. Whether it be not spending money in America, or whether it be not flying in America, or whatever it is. And I want to say, guys, this is what collapse means. That's what collapse means. Is that being an American in an emergency, it don't mean nothing. Like I use people to understand what collapse means. Is that being an American, living in a first world country, it don't mean nothing. This is gonna be a playground for the rich. That's all it is. You know, Trump putting out the gold card and stuff like that. It's a playground for the rich. That's all it is. Ain't nothing to this shit. And now I'm filing this bird flu. I've been filing it for a while. I talk about how my job's getting stricter. There's places we go, we can't even get out the truck. There's more places you gotta get washes in and stuff. I've talked about that before. And the whole society out here is not aware of it. Trump's just playing like there's nothing going on. This COVID, this bird flu, it's in Cambodia. I think it's been like, 8 people, 9 people, 5 of them have died in the last 2 months. We said it, 50% deadly. I was following that 6 months ago. And in some ways, it's kind of worse than I thought. I'm a collapse person. And to me, looking at Donald Trump, he is a part of that. See, we're going to have a collapsed president either way. I want to be, I said that, I was like, come on, I might be a collapsed president. It's going to go either way. Collapse would mean a president that says and does things that are necessary people don't like. And that means getting ready for sea level rise and climate change. And collapse is intertwined. You understand? Climate change is intertwined with higher turbulence, with plane flights. Climate change has to do with the risk of more pandemics, not getting it today, look it up. Like, this stuff is all intertwined. That's why you term collapse as a sort of an end-all, be-all, because it all is connected. You understand? It's all connected. So for me, it was going to be this one way or the other. And I thought Kamala would be the collapse because she could have, made choices. Now he picked Trump. And, Trump's job is to downplay everything. We see he downplayed COVID the first time. People died needlessly, wasted months. That's what he does. Now you had, with this thing in Cambodia, let's have a little bit of a, let's catch up here. We pulled out the WHO, right? Which means the CDC is getting information I can get a hold of if I wanted to. And, phone calls, things like that later, something's going on big. But there's really not this scientific closed network going on no more, where it's like, hey, there's a fire going on over there. Okay, there's not that. There isn't that no more. We pull out WHO. He has made it where government agencies cannot communicate in public no more. He has made it where he's cut the CDC, cuts the NIH. People are good, people are quitting. And people who have sense aren't going to try to apply to work there because it's all just political bullshit now. He has raised, cut NOAA. He wants to get rid of NOAA. He wants to get rid of FEMA, cutting FEMA. So that means whose job is to be aware of and observe these disasters and climate change and how the weather changes. And him making it that he's raised the stakes of what an official, what is a federal state of emergency. He's changed it. You see, this is how the white man deals with collapse. This is how the conservative deals with collapse. You don't deal with it. You change the definitions. They can't use certain words. You see? Let's cut the people whose job is to study the weather. This morning, now they got it where it used to be the DOD government. They would release Department of Defense. They would release satellite stuff like bad weather. Not anymore. So this is about making America a closed state, not a state where we share information. I'm like, all right, we want to protect human life. It reminded me of when Trump got in office the first time, and you had the Afghan document talking about how the war in Afghanistan is not going well, was dying, was not being well, and all Trump did was he classified a lot of shit, so you could no longer follow what was going on, the wars, the battles, and all that. That's how Trump operates. And that's what Trump's version of collapse is. Let's just make everything secret. And it's funny because they literally ran on all Epstein, exposing the swamp, and now they got this thing where they're like, I think Trump wanted to sue somebody for talking about, like, they're saying he's part of Epstein, and he found out that to sue them, he would have to let the people see about what's in Epstein files. Can't do that, right? It's not like we want people to actually be able to tell what's going on with Epstein. Another example of how white people are really stupid, voting for this man, for this notion of like transparency and how things would be, transparent, and you didn't get any of that because you're suckers. You didn't get any of that, and you're never going to, because you're suckers. It's like JFK idea of like, we're gonna like release. I don't think he released like 2 pages on Dr. King, something to do with orgies, to make Dr. King look bad. That's what Trump does. Is the few black leaders we have right now and the few black power sectors, he attacks them. Remember, he attacked LeBron James. Laura Ingraham was talking about how LeBron James need to shut up and dribble. Yeah. That's how it works. That's how it works. And then when Eminem came out there and was attacking Trump on social media, Trump never responded, because that's the white man's game. Attack these powerful black niggas. Attack the black people that have a little bit of money, a little bit of influence, a little bit of power. People, when they step out, people pay attention. Attack them and suppress them. We don't want black folk to have any power. And if we do, they're comedians and clowns. Notice you ain't never heard a white man tell Kanye West to shut up and dribble or stay in his lane. You notice that? I wonder why that is. Denzel said something. Wow, I'm gonna end it with this. He said that, if the devil's not attacking you, if the devil's not coming against you, it's because you're no threat. You're no threat. You're not a threat to him. You're not doing anything that is threatening to his way. You're not threatening him. You're not necessarily like you're neutral. What did Desmond Tutu say? If you find yourself as neutral in conflict, then you are on the side of the oppressor. And this whole moment with Trump, I gotta say, it doesn't scare me. I find myself really looking at profiles in courage. Whether it be John Kennedy or his brother Robert, whether it be, Nelson Mandela, Eleanor Roosevelt, President Roosevelt's wife, human rights. I find myself really looking at people that in some cases sacrificed it all, that America be a better place for everyone. And it's just, I said it before, that it made me be humble, that it means to save my my own life, that a bit of that is cowardice. Because many people face much worse than I have or I will, with the stakes are much higher. And a part of that makes me ashamed that you're afraid of Trump when what you're really looking at is a country that is degenerated. Whether it be this bill, whatever. This is a country that's really degenerated. This is a Caucasian that's chosen to basically self-destruct his own country. And the idea of being afraid of that or scared of that, it really, I'm embarrassed because people face much worse, where the odds were much worse than I'm facing. It's not enough to know what's wrong. We got to be ready for what